For this tutorial, I will be covering how to insert materials into your Photoshop program to assist in creating 3D realistic, stunning floor plans. Right now, we have our layers already created, and to understand how to create your layers and begin to add blending options to anything that you create in Photoshop, please refer to the previous tutorial. But for now, we're going to work this floor plan that is in front of us, and we're going to zoom in and focus on a small area here. Right now, I'm on the plan view, and I'm going to use my magic wand to select my plan view space where I want to create my new layer. Once this area is selected, I'm going to go over to where it says add your layer. And in your layer, I'm going to go ahead and double click so I can give it a name. And let's call this the main floor, flooring. Now that I have my main flooring layer set, I can go over to where we have our Google. And under Google, I have hardwood floors pulled up. Selecting the hardwood flooring that I would like to work with, I'm going to say copy image and then go back to my Photoshop. Now, once you have your your image copied, you're going to open up a new Photoshop document. And then you're going to Control V, which is paste in your defined pattern. But now we need to make sure that pattern is defined to Photoshop. If you need to, you may need to crop your drawing or pattern that you selected. But once it is in here and is ready to go, we're going to scroll down to where it says define pattern, which is right here under edit and down where it says define pattern. In here, you can select and type in your pattern name, or you can give it the same name as it was in your previous document, main flooring. Once that is set, you can go back to your original document. Use your rectangular marquee tool and select inside of your main flooring. Scroll down to where it says fill. With the left click, you're going to go to your contents. If it's not already set to pattern, you want to scroll and make sure that your contents are patterned. And in the custom pattern, you're going to select the item that you created. When that is done, it will populate on your screen. Now, I have had a few different patterns created, so I wanted to make sure that I'm in the correct one. If there are any other areas that you want to add this flooring to or material to, you would just do the same thing. Use your magic wand tool to select in the space. Some may want to put it inside of their doors, or I'm going to show in a few moments here another way to create an illusion in these doorways. The next thing is to add in something else, another element. Let's go with our sofa. Doing the exact same thing, I'm going to go and find my sofa on Google. Now, you can pull in templates from your AutoCAD or any other drawing image that you may have, but we're going to use Google throughout this tutorial. Creating a new layer, I'm going to call this layer sofa. And with the sofa, going over to my Google, you want to make sure that your Google search in a top view if you're working with a floor plan. Once you find the image that you would like to incorporate or use within your drawing, you're going to, of course, copy that image and then return to your Photoshop yet again. You want to make sure that you're on that sofa layer. And I want to make sure that this layer is on top of my main flooring so that it shows up above the floor. You can simply Control V to bring it in, and then you can move it around as needed. Now notice that our walls are sitting on top. If you put the sofa above your walls, then your walls no longer are a distraction or obstruction to your image. I'm going to go ahead and select my magic wand tool so that I can remove what I don't want from my image, which is the white space. From here now, I can move my sofa around. If I go over to edit, scroll down to transform, you will see that we have some manipulation tools: scale, rotate, screw, distort, wrap. If you select rotate, you can begin to maneuver your sofa or your image around in the direction that you want. As you can see, I'm just using my furniture plan as a template, and I'm going to let this layout that I've already created guide me into sizing my furniture as well. Once you're set and you're inside of manipulation tool, when you right click it, the other tools will stay attached. If not, you can just continue to go to edit. For now, I'm going to use scale and scale this image down. When you grab your corners, it moves it all as one unit so that it scales together. And I'm just going to set this and scale it till I get to the size that I'm looking for. And again, notice I'm just using my floor plan that's underneath as a guide. Once it's all set, then you're good to go. When we want to add some depth to this, we can go ahead and go to our layers and right click and go up to our blending options. These blending options are going to allow you to add those layer styles, drop shadows, pattern overlay, texture, contour. It is up to you to add whatever you need to add to really accentuate your images. For this sofa, we're going to give it a little drop shadow so that it has some depth to it. When you have a shadow on, you can move it in a direction, as you can see here, by just picking it up with your move tool and placing it where you would like it to be. You can manipulate the spread and the sizing. It has a lot of tools for the structure or settings for your structure and qualities so that you can begin to play around with it. Your preview image is found here. So every time that you make a change, you can see the preview shown off to the right side. When it is set, you can select OK. Notice on your layer that we have those effects attached to that item. Next, let's go ahead and look for that console. Again, you can select whatever it is that you want to put in. Remember to add your layer. We're going to call this console. And on the console layer, I'm going to Control V to bring that in. You can either rotate and manipulate your drawing, your image at however you like, or you can remove the parts that you don't need right away. And then worry about transforming this at a later time. Sometimes you have to remember, as you can see, to come off of the command so that you can move it around as needed. Just going to rotate my console around. And then I'm going to scale this down. And even though I am scaling, I needed to go back here. Sometimes you just get stuck. It's okay. Let's try to rotate that again. There we go. Whenever you're in a command, you can always move your item Now this console is a little bit larger than what I expected. However, it works and it's allowing me as a designer to see how big I can actually go. Do I want something that takes up the entire wall? Notice that you will see me get a couple times the pink lines, and it's allowing me to center. Again, using my blending options, I might too want to give some drop shadow or outer glow as well. I am okay with my settings as they are, so I'm going to select OK. Another item that I had thought of adding is a cocktail table. So I already had some things searched here. And bringing that cocktail table right into my drawing. I'm going to do the opposite and scale it now. Move it into place, or start to move it into place. And then I can use, again, that magic wand to click on the white that I would like to have removed. And I think I want to scale this just a little more. Now I see that it's kind of blending in with my flooring. So of course you can go to your blending options. You can change your color. You can change the color of your flooring. You can even insert other items such as a rug. So I'm going to choose this rug here. Copy this image again. And then I'm going to add a layer. Call it rug. And insert it. The first thing that I'm going to do with this rug is rotate it in the correct direction that I want it. Move this into place. go to my edit again and scale it down. Now notice that it's sitting on top of my sofa. I actually have more than one layer set. I'm going to delete that. So you want to make sure that in your layers, everything is where it needs to be. To double check that, you can simply turn the eyeball on and off, and you'll know what item was on that layer. Now, the layer is sitting on top of my sofa and on top of my cocktail table. So that means I need to grab my layer and put it below those items, but keep it on top of my main flooring. And even though your rug is now sitting under your other items, you can still scale and move this around without interrupting any other furniture pieces. Selecting your blending options again, you want to just continue to give effects to your images, adding anything that will assist in helping make your drawing realistic. I'm going to go to that cocktail table, right click, go to my blending options, and give it a little shadow. And I want to accentuate that texture. So notice how now it looks like it has more depth to it. So things are beginning to appear to be raised. Whenever you need to make any changes, you would just go and double click on that layer. Your blending options will open and select what you would like to change. Whenever your settings are correct, again, just press OK. So here we have our living room beginning to look complete. You can even add shrubbery or plants the same way. Adding that layer, naming it, however, whatever name it needs to be, and just bring it right in. Always use that magic wand to select areas that you want to remove. And scale things as needed. Scale this down. With your scaling, you're really just eyeballing in this type of example. But again, you can use your layout as a guide, especially because most of the time our layouts that we've already created have been scaled drawings, were produced as scaled drawings. And I'm going to scale that just a little more. Give this some character as well. Make sure that that texture really shows through. And there we have it. When it comes to creating countertops and putting in our fixtures, it is the exact same way. For this next example, I'm going to show that here I have selected a granite surface. If you like that image, I'm going to just copy the image, return to my Photoshop, and yet again, I am going to drop a image into my Photoshop. I just went ahead and copied it into the drawing that I already had open with my flooring image. And then I'm going to define that pattern. Give that pattern a name and select OK. Return once again to your original drawing. You want to make sure that you are on your plan view when you're selecting items for a new layer. Taking my magic wand, I'm going to select everything where I want my granite surface. And then start a new layer and name it. Now I'm just going to call it my kitchen tops. Now that I'm on that new layer, I'm going to go to my marquee selection tool and I'm going to just click anywhere inside of my kitchen tops outline and scroll down to fill. Left click to select fill, and remember you want to be on your contents as pattern. If you were putting a color in, you can go to color, but we're going to go to pattern, select our custom pattern that we defined and brought in, and then say OK. And they will then populate. At this time, you can scale your patterns just like your flooring if you wanted to whatever size that you want it to be. By selecting scale, you can also scale it out bigger if you needed to fill a different space. Just an example of that. But don't forget that on your countertops, you can go, of course, to those blending options again and give your top some depth. As needed. And we'll do that more in a moment. The same thing is when you're ready to put in your furniture for that table set, or even if we're looking for something as a kitchen sink, or when you have a bathroom and you need a tub or a toilet, make sure that you're searching for top view and then state what it is. When you select that image, you're going to just say copy and then create a layer for it. I'm going to call it kitchen sink, and I'm going to tell you why. And then, of course, remember to Control V for copy. It's underneath everything because we need to move it above. Use your edit transform to go and scale down to the size that you need to fit. Remember using your outside corners again and using your magic wand to select the areas that you would like to have deleted. So now the sink stands alone. If you need to move it around, you can do so. If you need to give it some depth, those blending options are there. I hope this tutorial is helping you understand how to pull images directly from Google. Again, you can also bring in images from other created softwares that you have already worked in. If you have furniture blocks from an AutoCAD, you can have those saved somewhere and pull those in as well. Once you have your elements in, you then begin to play around with all of the different blending options to give depth to your plans. Now, another piece is you want to make sure that your layers stay organized and things that need to be together go together. So, in this living room area, I could simply select my cocktail table, hold down shift, select my console, sofa, plants, and even if I wanted to, rug, and go over to where we have the folder and we can create a group. And we can call this group one, or we can double click and call it our living room elements or furniture. So now when we open up that group, all of those layers that we joined together are grouped together under the group called living room furniture. So if I turn that eye off, all of those elements will turn off. And we can downsize it so that now we don't have so many layers stacked on top of each other and taking up space, and we have to keep using our scroller. We can group them together to make them all linked and accessible as needed. This is great for organizing your layers in your Photoshop.